What's good?
Y'all got another short one again.
Nah, it's the same amount of time.
We up top, Will.
You just took a couple too many sips.
Will's moving up like George and Weezy, baby. We see you
out
here.
Moving on up.
Sipping on scissor.
We made it, Will. We made it.
Yeah, welcome to the Fourcast.
It's temporary, fellas. Don't get used to this shit.
Thank you. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
We are back again with another great show.
Guess who's back? Back again.
In a little bit. Island Dog is back. I should have changed that to Island Dog.
Yes, sir.
Island Dog.
Yes, I'm trying to get back as quick as I can.
We are back with another great review, and we got a special guest. He's working out, getting on here in just a minute. You've seen the promo. We're doing Respect. It's a 2021 film.
Yes, indeed.
Jennifer Hudson. A lot of cast of characters and well-known actors in this one. So we're going to review this one. It's been on our list for a little while. So if you're new to the Fourcast, four of us, obviously. We review movies, documentaries, films like you've never seen before, completely different way, 4 different perspectives, raw and uncut, mainly up in the top left. But we are here to give you another great review. And we have AJ Jones will be coming on as our special guest. And this is actually the first time we have ever had a guest on the Fourcast. Y'all realize that? It's pretty much been us.
Well, do we count? We don't count Courtney back.
I guess phone
at the very beginning. Okay, it's still been a year because Courtney was like that for the second or third episode.
Yeah, I don't count him either. He a Philly fan. Yeah, with him.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to Doc first, man. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm fantastic. You know, the older you get, the longer it take you to recover from these vacations. You know, you need a vacation from vacation. Belize, or more specifically, San Pedro was fantastic. It was beautiful. Got another life experience under the belt with some fantastic snorkeling and seeing some very rare creatures. So I thank God for being able to bless me to be so fortunate to be able to do so. I recognize, I am acutely aware of the fact that I have done some things that very few people in the history of the world have gotten to do. So I don't take that lightly, man. You know, not only to see one golden spotted eagle ray in the U.S. Virgin Islands a little over a year ago, but to see another one in one of the most revered snorkeling destinations, to see another one and to swim with sharks, man, look at here. I mean, he been good to me. So if I start shouting,
been good.
Hold my mule, man.
He been good.
And I tried the restaurant that I called y'all from on Monday night that I dialed in on, or I tried to log in on, was right in the middle of San Pedro. It was a good look at what the island is like. I mean, this restaurant was on the second floor. When you walk in, you immediately go to the second floor. And the way the chairs and booths are situated, you're overlooking the street below as the golf carts are passing by and people are going to the stores and going about their daily lives. So it was a real cool look at it. And San Pedro has about 10,000 golf carts on it. That's how they get around the island for the most part. So fantastic time, man, to say the least.
Good time.
Yeah, it sounded like he was about to give a testimony, giving honor to God who's
my life. You better believe it. Everybody believe it.
First lady over there, you're looking real nice today.
Don't ever forget it. Don't ever forget it. No matter how high I get, huh? I still be looking up to you, Jesus. Huh?
Man, watch out now.
Watch out, C.L. Franklin. Touching kids and preaching something. Anyway. All right, so
wait a minute. Keisha Walker said something. She didn't say nothing to A-Trap though, so I don't know why she left him out that comment.
That's great.
She said this, but she didn't say something to A-Trap too.
You ain't know she the fifth Beatle, man. She Clarence.
Hey man, last week she
was
didn't
in
call
there,
in,
man.
but the comments was popping. So we got to definitely discuss next week next week. Let's think of something we can get her on. Yeah, man, she was. Everybody was falling in love with her. So
right on.
All right, let's get to some comments before we go to H-Rap. Charlotte, y'all can't get rid of me. No, we're not trying to get rid of you, Charlotte. You my family.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
She the best voice on Built for this network. Why were we trying to get rid of you?
And you got baby hair on the side. You good with us.
She got baby hair on the side and in the back, that upper neck part.
The upper neck.
Instant curl.
I got to get that drop. You stupid. Who put it for Martin?
And I'm telling you right now, the devil is busy because if we got to have AJ Jones on here, man. He is busy.
Oh,
If we get him, y'all think we acting a fool now? Just wait.
Right.
He working on it. He said he can't. Well, if you can't join with the camera, you good. Just come on with what you got. DJ Purplelicious, thank you for tuning in.
Right.
Built for this network.
Keisha.
She didn't say
nasty. He's nasty. He's nasty.
That's making that.
It's all right.
Noise.
It's all right. Next time H-Rap come to town, I'm gonna come get you.
Yeah.
And let you unwrap that chocolate.
That king size snack. Side note, they're taking the veins out of the Snickers. I don't know if you heard about that.
That's
wow.
That's right, man.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I ain't joking.
Let's go out.
Look it up.
Yeah, they said it looks stupid, man.
Huh?
See, man, we live in a world that we got ridiculous.
It's idiocracy. It's idiocracy.
Right, man. I can't even come down next month, man.
Idiocracy. That's what it is.
I can't come next month because I'm moving.
Yeah.
All right, let's see, AJ. Yeah, if you can only do audio, you good. We'll just work it out with that.
She's gonna work it out.
AJ.
Sorry about that, guys. I have no idea what is happening, and it's frustrating the bejesus out of me.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it. I've been hyping you up, talking about he got 40 years in radio, and this is a radio legend. And but the good thing is, you don't have to see nobody in radio, so I guess you ain't letting us
down. Man, I'm serious. I feel like Aretha's first husband. I want to throw something, bro. I'm mad.
Yeah. Just don't punch me in the eye.
No, I want to throw somebody in the eye.
So thank you for coming on the show, AJ Jones, legendary radio host out of Houston. Introduce yourself. Tell the people about you that may not know who you are.
Yeah, I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Been working in radio for a little bit over 40 years. Just retired from radio. Stop it, quit. Man, I just love what I'm doing now, man. I had a good run in the radio side, but now, man, I'm having a great time. So I got hooked up with a dude, Ben Sutter III, and my whole life changed. And then he introduced me to good cats like King Dalk and the rest of the good fellas on here. So, man, I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it.
Yeah, and let me say this: he is. There's no way that he could give himself an introduction, that Ben can give him an introduction, or that I could give him an introduction that would be worthy of this cat, man. When I say that I was immediately enthralled by him, I immediately asked him, take me under your wings. I mean, this is a consummate professional right here, man. And when I say, if you paying attention to Queen 3 and King, and seeing how I'm trying to step up my game, it is because of this brother right here, man. I'm telling you, when I say sharp, I mean sharp, sharp, sharp. So again, there's no way we can give an introduction that would do him justice.
Well, brother, I appreciate that, man. Again, I love being the iron that sharpens other people's iron because it makes me better. So again, thanks for allowing me to hang out with y'all.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Great to have you on. Long time coming. All right, so let's get to this. Let's go back around the horn real quick. A-Trap, we're gonna go. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I forgot what I was. No, I'm just yeah, man. It has been a trying week, but I'm better. Had a health situation, a health scare. This I'm pre-diabetic, so I reverted to my vegetarian lifestyle. And then like I was telling you before the show started, I'm in a situation. I was cutting up my food today. And I forgot how I used to decompress daily, and I'm smelling the vegetables, and it took me down. It took my stress levels down. So I'm good, man. Outside of that,
yeah. That's therapy. I mean,
yeah, it is.
And whatever that therapy is to you, because we all have our different forms of that. So definitely. Wilkes.
Yeah, I agree, A-Trap.
I'm good. Doing all right.
Okay, there you go. He got his picture up there. Now they
We
wait
got
to
his
see.
avatar
Now understand something. He don't look like that. He don't look like that now. That's if you want to see a life insurance, that's what he looked like. But when he in them Houston clubs, baby, he ain't looking like that. He got the big gold chain on it that say AJ, and it's dripping. It say AJ drip, baby.
Wow. Nah, listen, I've been training for this little 5K, so ain't how I do it at all, man. Ain't how I do it at all.
Just wait till I come to Houston and show him how to live in his town. Just wait, boy. Ooh, I can't wait.
Y'all silly, man.
How you doing, Wilkes?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm ready.
So what y'all don't know is Wilkes put in a request while I was in San Pedro in Belize for some how do you pronounce it? Is it Mares or Mars?
It's Marie Sharp. Marie
Sharp's Belizean heat, some hot sauce.
Oh, it's great.
And so coming home at the airport, well, I grabbed me a bottle of something and I grabbed him a bottle of something. My bottle of something was that, whenever black folks go out of town and we overseas, we got to bring back that innocent pure white.
Yeah.
So I come back with a bottle of that, but Mayhem asked for that Belizean heat. So before I even made it to the house, I dropped it off at his spot with my suitcase still in my truck.
Yeah, it was
have
good.
Have you popped it up?
Yes, I've been using it. Oh, yes.
Okay.
It's perfect.
Good.
It's perfect. I appreciate it. I of course, I wasn't expecting it, but I appreciate it.
No, of course, man. Come on. You have not because you asked not.
Man, that was awesome. That was on time right there. I appreciate it.
No matter how high I get, huh? They'll be looking up to you,
Bert Franklin.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yes.
The distant cousin.
Right.
Yes,
sir. The more handsome one, I must say.
All right, Teresa Rucker Park in the building.
Rucker Park, what's up with it? Been missing Rucker Park.
Definitely. We also Keisha. We already went to some of our comments.
Raider Kev
in the building. Who else?
St. Janice.
Big Illinois.
T out again.
Raider Kev, aka Janice.
On another work release.
Fresh out the joint.
Fresh out.
That's how I see AJ. I know you the professional, but I can teach you a little something too. That's how you engage your viewers right there. You connect with their personal lives.
Brother, I'm taking notes back here in the background right now.
AJ, you say you from Cincinnati?
Originally, yes, sir.
You on the radio 40 years ago?
Yes, sir.
Cincinnati, baby.
Don't say that, man. Stop that.
WKR, that's Venus.
Now, see,
the Black Venus flytrap.
See, nah, man.
I used to love that show, man. I would not miss that as a kid, man.
If you ever wondered.
Yeah.
They got the jingles and everything. That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
I'm living on the edge.
What's crazy is I work with people who would fight you over trying to compare WKRP to what they did, man. It's like, bruh, chill out. It ain't that
Right.
serious.
Just a show.
Yep, slinging that Jericho juice around.
Yeah, J.R.
No,
Ewing.
Venus had a fro, man.
Yeah, so yeah, J.R. Ewing ain't here either, man. Come on.
Who shot him?
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
respect.
Swelling.
Let's bring it on back. Let's bring it on back in. All right,
No,
2000.
you can't. You don't try to rein us in.
Bring it back
Oh,
in.
yeah, what you talking about? I don't know what you thought this is. AJ, you trying to show out because AJ on here? You can't rein us in.
Where's my camera? Let me get this camera working, bro.
You don't rein us in. Talking about bringing it on back. Man, what you got in the cup over there tonight? He must trying to try you over there. Gonna bring us back. Yeah, around us.
Wrangler, somebody got to be the Wrangler.
Nah, we good, man. We good.
Yeah. Shit,
Yeah,
you
trying
asked
to like-
us if we ready.
Trying to act like C.L. Franklin.
You hear me,
Real,
man?
real.
I said, you ask us if we ready to cooperate. Hey, you know.
You just rein us back in. What's that?
You got that demon in you.
Yeah. All right.
You got that demon.
You got that
I can't
demon.
talk to you when you got
Demon
that
following you.
You're not walking with the Lord.
Yeah.
You drinking and everything.
Give me another one.
Look, Charlotte trying to get with Ben. She already trying to say to talk of this ain't your daddy, Siskel and Ebert right here. This ain't how we review movies.
Charlotte says, I was impressed by Sky Dakota Turner and her voice.
I guess that's the little
She
girl.
didn't sing, she sang. I was wondering if that was her voice.
Yeah.
Because she got a voice, definitely. That was her.
Dang.
They ain't let me sing. I ain't want me in there.
Five
They
heartbeat.
and they left her authentic too. That's how little black girls hair looked like back in the day, didn't it?
Oh, yes.
They left that authentic.
Yeah.
Real.
She didn't have no baby hair like Charlotte got.
Nah. She had that corn husk. That maze going on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. So, Pastor Dodd in the house as well.
What's up, Pastor Dodd?
Thank you for
All right
tuning
now,
in.
Pastor.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Pastor.
You got your all with your pastor tonight?
Yeah,
real.
Brother, get some of
Cross
that.
and your all.
You gotta make sure you go like that.
The Spirit of Christ
Yeah.
compels you. The Spirit of Christ compels you.
You gotta make sure you whip it back, because if you don't get enough on that one
Right.
finger.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's all in the wrist.
All right, respect about Aretha Franklin's life. First, I would say, kind of initial thoughts. What did you guys know? A ton of details on Aretha Franklin. I'll first say no. I just knew that
Not
she was
really.
the queen of soul. That was it. I mean, I
Yeah,
didn't know
not
her
really.
background. I didn't know her
No,
dad.
I
I didn't know
didn't
her
either.
sisters.
I-
anything
I-
like that.
I didn't. I mean, because growing up, I just knew her as an entertainer. I didn't know much about her private life. I didn't hear about her private life. So this was definitely,
Yeah, I think we missed her a little bit based on our age group. Me and Age Rap probably caught a little bit more than you fellas did, and probably AJ, and that's whose opinion that's probably gonna be weightier here in terms of what he knew growing up. But because I think she was just outside, like she wasn't even necessarily quote unquote popular for our parents at that time. That's not who they were playing
right.
on the record player,
Right.
back in the room,
Right.
but you knew of her talent, but nowhere near what we know now. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
about
yeah,
yourself?
I'm kind of with Charlotte. I didn't know that her family was as close to who they were close to until I saw
right.
it, on the screen. And
Yeah.
then it was like, okay, that makes sense now that she was always at, the Martin Luther King events and functions. And, to hear people say, oh, well, I didn't know she was a Black Panther. Well, no, she wasn't a Black Panther. She was an activist. And that activism came through her association with Martin Luther King. I was surprised to see her teacher was James Cleveland. I was like, damn. I mean, you got no choice but to be great when James Cleveland is your music teacher.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You having house parties with
Right.
Dinah Washington and Duke
Right.
Ellington and
Right.
Jay, you got everybody
I
from the
mean,
punks
no
to the
pressure.
drunks. You got from the preacher to the pimp. Everybody at the party, man.
Everybody
I was
was
like,
yeah.
you
Sam
don't talk
Cooke.
about balance.
Yeah.
Hell, I thought I was balanced. That's some balance for you.
I
Right.
thought Ricky
Sam-
Rush was in the background, but I guess not.
God Almighty.
We
Wow.
getting started early, and it's Monday
Always.
too. They ain't got out yet.
Always. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
That's what they say.
Locked and loaded.
That's what they
What in
say.
hell do you want?
There.
Hey, but somebody asked me, what did you think about the pastor having those kind of parties at his own house?
Tell us.
I think
I
it
didn't
was
think
a
I didn't have a problem with it because it was a different time. People looked at people as human beings at that point, from my perspective.
Right.
It wasn't this high and mighty situation.
right.
Like I've heard lore of Dr. King playing basketball with Jesse. Well, the night Dr. King was assassinated, they went to Reverend Powell's house, and Jesse Jackson didn't have on a tie, and Dr. King was joking with him. He said, "Nick, where you been? And why you ain't got on no tie?" So, and he allegedly said those words. So,
Right.
I think it was more of a human being thing
Right.
versus a high and mighty, oh Lord, worship him kind of deal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I kind of like that. I kind of like seeing, again, it wasn't reality, it wasn't a documentary, but I kind of like seeing that imagery because it humanized everybody. It didn't put them in the pulpit. It didn't put them on stage. It literally made them. It took me back to my mama's card parties where I learned Al Green, Love and Happiness, because back then you played the whole album. You just didn't play one song and then you jumped over to Luther or jumped over to Teddy Pendergrass. You played that whole album. So yeah, that's what it did for me. It took me back like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
And I think too, the pastor, especially during this time, it was more than just a pastor of a church. They were activists. They were civil rights. So they had they were kind of the middleman to connect these people together. And I also want to mention Sam Cooke, which was also a family friend.
Right.
That was another.
Yeah,
one
that's
that
right.
Got down in the building. Oh, my fault.
Yeah.
I got carried away.
And rewinding back, one night in Miami, Sam Cooke, man, it's
True.
back together again.
Yeah, and a lot that for me, the pastor having a party and whatnot, what it does for me is it helps push a better narrative, right, about Christianity, and that, what the drinking and the smoking and and in fact, if I'm not mistaken, they even showed a couple of dudes touching each other in that first scene, right? So they covered homosexuality, being, all those things were covered, right? Drinking, all that stuff. And so it reminds us that it's not mutually exclusive. We're not separated from this stuff, right? We need to be next to it. We need to be touching it. How you gonna know what needs to be done? How you gonna know what folks need to hear? See what I did, man. See what I did, man.
Look here, Rudy Tooty, fresh and fruity over there.
Yeah, wow.
Get over there with the Figueroskis.
Wow. Oh, wow.
I'm joking.
But needless to say, it's not mutually exclusive, and to me, Christians have heard in Christianity more than atheists have.
Hey,
Right.
Keisha.
there's some facts there.
Hey, James Cleveland didn't try. Cleveland smoked Aretha. I'm just saying.
What?
I've like, because y'all know I'm a documentary nerd,
Right? Yeah.
And it's only thing it was a couple of things that I know, but I don't know for a fact because I wasn't there, but I know that these things have been bantied about, that James Cleveland did molest her, from what I understand, and she had a relationship with Sam Cooke, and Glenn Thurman put the pause on her.
I can believe it.
Well, she divorced him.
Preach
Something wrong.
So let me ask you this: who did we ever figure out who the character was that was molesting her at the house parties?
JC, baby.
That was who came in that room.
No.
No, that was somebody else.
She
I
announced.
just said it was Ricky Rush.
Man, okay, man.
Stop.
I mean,
Stop.
hey,
I thought
what
that was
in
Ricky.
hell do you want when heaven is on?
Wow.
So
Wow.
on her deathbed, she named the person who it was, because she was very secretive. She didn't say who it was to her
Right.
grandmother.
Pregnant at 12.
Pregnant
Right.
at 12. Pregnant for the
Right.
second time at 14 by the
14.
same guy.
Right.
I'm gonna look up that name, because she said she wrote the name in a written will, who the actual name of the person was.
Wow.
But
Probably
at
some choir
12,
instructor or something.
You say what?
I tell you, probably a choir instructor or something. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Probably somebody just in the church. I mean, but being.
Well, I mean, you know,
boyfriend.
his daddy had. I mean, her daddy had a bunch of folks at that house, though,
Right.
you know.
Exactly. I mean.
So I mean, it didn't necessarily have to be somebody in the church. It could have been anybody, man. It could have been a neighbor.
I heard that too, Rev.
yeah,
That it
so
was
it
her
was
dad.
Edward.
My
It
dad
was
touched her a couple
Edward.
times.
Donald Burke.
Donald Burke.
Who was
Donald Burke.
AJ?
It says it was an autobiography by David Ritz revealed that it was a childhood classmate of her named Donald Burke that molested her.
Wow. Now, this other article is saying
Out of the
Edward,
whole movie, that was my
Edward
biggest
Jordan.
problem with the whole
And,
thing.
and that was the father of the child, was Edward
Okay.
Burke.
Okay.
I mean, Edward Jordan. I'm sorry, Edward Jordan.
Okay. So we on the same page. Yeah, Edward Jordan was the father. But
Right.
you saying the guy that came in was a different guy.
Was a different guy.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's the part, and I said this to my wife. This is one of these films where it's good and bad at the same time. I mean, you get to see their life, you get to see everything they went through. You think of the struggle that she had and the stuff she had to go through in the back of her mind, that we can now see in this film that it affected her whole entire life. I mean, I'm assuming she later on in life she got over it.
That also made me wonder when they kept saying, you know, of course there's other forms of demons, but I wonder if that was one of the demons, because she was obviously highly attracted to men. I mean, she was, and they were highly attracted to her, so she definitely wasn't gonna fake the funk with that situation. So I'm just wondering if that's another, you know, demon that they would speak of, even though, of course,
no doubt, man. I mean, how could you be in that situation and that not affect you, man? That
Right.
You know, I hurt for her on that, to say the least, man.
Yeah, but did they know that was the demon, though? Because again, she never told anybody.
No.
She
Well,
never
I don't
told
think they
anybody.
knew- I don't think they knew that demon. I think they had their own persona of the demons.
Of what?
That she would
I got
show.
you. They just knew that she would go into a dark place, is what you're saying.
They
I
thought
got
it was
you.
the
I got you.
drinking. They thought the demon was her drinking and going into that depressive
Dark
state,
place.
which that they
Yeah.
didn't
They
call
don't
it
know.
that.
Remember, though, when she was a kid, though, the demon, the dark place, was when she just went silent, when she
Wouldn't
went
talk.
mute, because they
That's
said she
right.
didn't talk for 3 weeks.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were calling out the dark place since she was a little girl.
That's right. That's
Right.
right. And
You know
I'm
what,
like
though?
this, man. I think it was probably known. Somebody
Oh, I'm
knew.
sure.
Somebody.
I think
had
Mama.
a feeling.
I think Mama knew. Mama Franklin. I think
Somebody
Mama
had-
Franklin knew.
Somebody had some sort of idea, because you know, that's just the way it was, you know.
Yeah.
To where they're gonna keep that sort of thing hush hush, you know, even if
Well,
they
even-
did know.
Yeah, even that scene where I think she was refusing to get her hair done. I think they didn't really kind of expound.
That's right.
on it.
That was after old molester.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I think
Right.
she kind of knew then, but
And so she
You
was
know what?
basically saying, if I'm not as pretty, they may not mess with me.
Right. You know what though? On a lighter note, what this movie did for me is show just how amazing her voice was, because Jennifer Hudson can sing,
Mhm.
and she wasn't even coming close to Aretha on these
Correct.
songs.
Correct.
And
Right.
I'm like, good Lord, Aretha Franklin can sing,
she was holding
because
the ground.
Jennifer
Yeah,
Hudson wasn't even in the same ballpark.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
But I think she was perfect though. I think she was
no,
perfect
she
for this role.
she got down. I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
Yeah.
as well as Jennifer Hudson can sing,
Yeah,
she
it's just
wasn't
a
even
different.
close
It's a
to
different
Aretha.
quality. Aretha has a different quality to her voice that is hard to match. It is unique. You'll never get somebody that can match that kind of quality. You know,
because Pavarotti went sick one night and Aretha stood in for him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
And this is a powerful comment here about Charlotte. Yes, she dealt with depression and PTSD, I'm sure, quote unquote, the demon. And this is something that we don't talk about enough. There is PTSD from stuff that happened centuries ago. Like that stuff is in our DNA. So people will say, well, you should just forget about it or just get over it.
Right.
It's not it's not simple. Yeah, right. It's not simple to just get over something. So I think for her, she didn't want to talk about it. And I thought that was interesting that her way of getting over it was to immediately sing and to play the piano. When she got into that moment, and then she wanted to sing with somebody. So I wanted to kind of touch on that. AJ, if you want to touch on that first.
Yeah, but you know what? It also touches on the bigger picture that they didn't believe in counseling. You know, the black family back then, there wasn't no such thing as therapists and counseling and getting that kind of stuff. To look at it biblically, when David when Saul was crazy as hell, what did he do? He had David come and play for him. So somewhere down the line, somewhere they put that scripture in their head that if I play this music, it's gonna ease my demons. It's gonna ease my pain a little bit because you know when she sat down next to James, she hadn't spoke, but she was starting to open up. And if her dad hadn't put that, you gonna talk to me, you're gonna talk to me, I believe she would have opened up then. Right. So it's like the movie didn't have time to really develop take the time to really develop how that music really soothed was her therapy. It was her therapy.
Right, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of artists, musicians, etc. There we go. We got a
okay. All right. Get the green screen, but I'm here.
We ain't worried about that. But we had a lot of. I'm willing to bet a lot of artists, musicians, etc. would say the same thing. This is my healing. This is my therapy. You know. I mean, heck, I'm gonna tell you like this. So a lot of you know that I'm a military veteran, right? And when I went through basic training and AIT and was in Desert Storm at age 17, 18, and 19, hey, music got me through. The fact that I could have music in my dorm or whatever the case may be, that got me through. That was my connection to the house, you know. So those late nights, those in Germany as a 19-year-old, not knowing whether I was going to see DFW ever again, shoot, if it wasn't for music, man, that'd have been extremely tough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's oh, go ahead, Andrew.
I speak about that on a regular basis on my show. How the removal of music from elementary schools and impoverished communities or underserved communities is a key because
that's big.
Everything is trapped in. You got this creative spirit inside of you, and you have no way to let it out. Football ain't letting it out. Baseball and basketball, that's not letting it out. But you can write. I mean, you can draw. You can sculpt. You can play a musical instrument, and you can get that out via your soul, not just like Maceo from James Brown. He got this song, I'm about to blow the soul out this horn. And it's a real smooth, laid back joint. And people just overlook it. They think it's just lip service when you say, I'm about to blow the soul out this horn. You basically, I'm finna decompress. I'm gonna get this out of my system.
Yeah, which all of us have experienced these songs, man, that or this music that is just haunting to us, right? To where it's like you can hear it, you can feel it, and you be like, man, this is just so haunting, you know. And it's because of where it came from those who wrote it. You know, you can feel their pain in their music, man. You know.
Yeah. And I think that even goes to listening to music too. I mean, like that is a healing. I believe that's a healing property. I mean, being able to hear. And this is a great point about Charlotte. I didn't know she was gifted to this degree where she was writing, arranging, playing piano. I didn't know that she was that gifted, and she had they didn't say what grade she went to.
Formal training. I don't think
she had no formal training or any higher education either.
No, because remember her dad is. That's right. Her daddy said that to one of the music executives. You know, she's not as smart as, I think it was Diana Washington. He was trying to compare her to somebody.
Lena Horne and Diana.
She's not as smart as them, but she's just as whatever. Yeah.
Right. Another Charlotte, you never get over molestation or abuse. You just cope. That's real.
Makes
That's
sense.
real.
And let me say this about that. I have y'all haven't heard this before from me, but I'm a victim of molestation, and I came up in one of those families where if you told, they call you a lie,
Right.
or they just covered it up because little Johnny got problems, and yeah, he get a little handsy, but blah 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 blah. What that did for me was kind of humanize the parts in me that still felt some kind of way about it. And I've been delivered. I've been, I've forgiven people and what have you. But whatever little bit was there, seeing that in Aretha, not like I was, finding peace in her pain, but it's like, damn, literally everybody or literally anybody could go through
Could be
this.
a victim.
And the fact that they touched that, I think they really helped a lot more people than they will ever even know
Wow.
by
I
them
love
touching that in that movie.
I love it.
Yeah, I think that was important because we
Love
need
it.
to see it, but also that should spark something in you to say, hey, this has maybe happened to me. I maybe need to get help. I maybe need to talk this thing out because
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
gonna doesn't just go away. Golden Brook says no counseling. Charlotte, I bet Michael Jackson probably saw his gift as a curse and a blessing.
I
Oh,
mean,
I'm
a
sure.
lot of
Absolutely.
artists do.
I'm sure.
Believe that.
Because your
Yeah.
gift, it won't let you go, man.
Yeah.
It's like you wanna. I mean, heck, we done all probably been there where you're trying to get to sleep and the Lord putting something on you, and you like, just let me. I'm tired. Let me go to sleep. And you
Right.
can't go to sleep till you get up and write it down or put it in your phone or whatever the case may
Right.
be. And that's just a small snippet of what these musical geniuses or whatever
Right.
the case may be. You got to get that information to you somehow.
Yeah.
Oh man, tell me about it.
And this
Yeah,
comment
Wilkes
here.
probably can't go to sleep because he's thinking about steak tartare or something.
Wow.
He's trying to
Well, you
cook.
didn't know how long I've been talking about that recipe.
And real quick, let's brag on Wilkes for a minute. We watched what's the name of the show? I'm drawing a blank. The cooking show that we did, High on the Hog. We watched High on the Hog.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they had a segment in there talking about the Oyster King, and Wilkes put that together. Now this was his first rendition of it, but I wanted to give him a shout out real quick because this is what I commented. You took it from what we watched to actually doing it, and so I just wanted to shout you out.
Yeah, thank you. No, I think it was that for whatever reason that recipe stood out to me, and it hit me different.
Now, for those of you who do not know, tell them what it is specifically that you cooked and whatnot.
So it's more popular to the region of New York. It's a oyster stew, and it was made popular by Thomas Downing, which was the Oyster King at that time in that era. And of course, my biggest thing was because since it's such a delicate sauce, it takes time. You can't just toss that together and say, okay, here it is. Something like that has to be poached for several hours, and the cream has to be consistent and it has to brown.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I know. Oyster was probably creamy.
AJ had to take a drink of water off that. He had to rinse and repeat.
He had
to rehydrate after that one.
It is in water.
But no, I love making that recipe. I'll definitely make it again. That was a test run. But I mean, I enjoyed making it. I enjoy challenging recipes. So that was definitely big for me. So look out for it again. It'll definitely come back through. So
what was so significant for me about that is that we had talked about how that being a delicacy that a lot of people didn't associate Black people with oysters. And in fact, if you really dug into it, you should associate us with oysters before anybody else.
And honestly, if we 100% real about it, you associate us with everything. Our hands
start with us first.
Have built
That's right.
everything.
Especially
start with us first.
Yeah, especially with now, and of course, mac and cheese being so popular, I was blown away by that recipe as well too. That we pretty much invented mac and cheese. So it was it's very significant. That they kind of probably mac and pie or whatever they call it, mac and cheese pie or something. But yeah, no, those recipes hit me a little different on that show. I love trying to challenge myself in that way. So I'll definitely be pulling out some more stops.
That's leading up to the Pootie Tang right there.
My response to this question
is hell no.
No.
No. Hey,
I saw that damn movie on DVD. No.
So how we
Now-
doing?
Now, one thing I did want to touch on is she was deemed Queen of Soul early. Like she wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, she was
that
still
guy. Yeah.
30. Was she even 30 yet at that point when she was?
No, she was like 25.
I don't think she was. Yeah.
I mean,
24,
like
25.
That tells you her voice was so much different and so much at a different level than everybody else's that they honored her as that at that age. I thought that was. I thought that was something that came later on in life. I don't know what.
Right, that's what I thought. But I guess I couldn't really blame her for just constantly wanting hits. I mean, she knows what she was and what gifts were laid upon her. So I mean, I guess
And she had some tough times early on. She didn't have a hit for. They didn't say how many years, but I'm assuming it was probably 9 albums.
She had like 4 albums, but none of them had like hits or anything on them at that time.
Let me ask you guys this though. If it had been anybody other than Columbia that said you are the Queen of Soul, would it have stuck?
No.
I agree with that. Because I always wonder who gives these artists like Queen of and the Prince of and the this, that, and the other, and with Columbia's money behind it, and because they were the biggest record company at that time, when they say it, they've got the money to back it up. The Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. The Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. Yeah. Watch this. At that time, if Berry Gordy had said that at Motown,
it wouldn't have stuck.
Because
she would have had a target on her back at that point.
Right.
Somebody would have tried to come along and dethrone that. So
right.
To back up what AJ's saying, here's proof positive that it wouldn't stuck. Nobody calls Smokey Robinson the king of anything, and he is the king. He's the king of soul. Smokey Robinson has written more hits, produced more hits, arranged more hits than anybody on earth.
Yeah, he is probably considered. I can't think of it. Oh gosh, he's probably maybe Barry Manilow is the black Smokey Robinson, because Barry Manilow is in the same breath, I guess. Him writing and producing and arranging. I mean, Smokey did it too. I mean, he's writing for Michael Jackson at the age of 5.
Yeah.
I mean, you know. He's looking
Smokey
at Michael like,
this too, right?
He
was part of
he was
kind of a little circle in this too.
Yeah, the young Smokey tried to get her. Yeah, the young Smokey was trying to get her over to Motown before her dad announced the deal with the meeting with Columbia.
Right. So check this out. So this is a nice segue into the similarities of so many athletes, artists, they fathers and their husbands in terms of the involvement in their career, right? You know, whether it be the Jacksons or whether it be Tina Turner and Ike, whether it be the Williams sisters, whether it be the Ball brothers, right? You know, of the dads and what we think about those dads pushing forward those careers, you know. There's always a negative stigma attached to it, but are we being unfair in that?
Go ahead, AJ.
Now, I was just going to say, I'll use the Ball, LeVar Ball as the primary source. I didn't have the problem with him that other people in the sports media had with him. They were telling him, stay out of your kid's business. And then they were telling the kids, don't listen to your dad. I saw a black man pushing his sons to a level that if he hadn't done it, I don't know who else would have.
That's right.
All he did was, boisterously pump kids up, and he was almost perfectly right. He said 3 kids in the NBA. He got 2 kids who were first-round draft choices, lottery picks. And really, the third one still should be in the NBA, but I digress. And then what did he do? He went out and he started his own shoe company when Nike, Reebok, and everybody else said no. So I didn't see it the same way. And I say the same thing. Yeah, there were problems. There were issues. Were they the best fathers? Absolutely not. But then which one of us are. So, you put me in the limelight, and you're going to look at me a little crazy every now and then. So
There you go.
I'm not as mad at Joe Jackson and as Mr. Franklin and as some of these other people as I would have been had I not seen them
Right.
in somebody else's depiction of them in their movie.
And I just want to bring that full circle. I mean, that kind of goes in line with, I had a person ask me this question. Well, why do we have to have these differences? I was like, what do you mean? We need black colleges. We need black businesses and entrepreneurs. Matter of fact, I just got through making a dish last night from a black entrepreneur that was the Oyster King. So it's like, if you're not going to do it for me, if your institute doesn't want me, then I will go over here and then I will make my own institution. I will establish for my people.
Right.
I can't. Now, we go back to that Colin Kaepernick role where it's like, yeah, you've got that white money behind you backing it, but there's a time where you can align with black entrepreneurs and black promoters and put that black money back into business and behind people and trust that pedigree, because you don't want to do it for me, you don't want to help me, then okay, all right, then I'll go over here and make my own. But don't get upset and try to buy me out once I get something established and get it going. Hello, Tulsa. Hello. But
Exactly. Shout out to Marcia Green. She says Smokey is the king of Motown, not taken away from the others, but Smokey was and still is one of the masters.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in. That's a new viewer, so we appreciate you. And I'll say this to that point, to the question that you had, Doc. I think it depends on what they're doing, and I think when it comes down to the Ball dad, all he wanted was the best for his family, and press is press, and that's what he got, and he helped build up something that did not exist. And so I think, though, when it comes to C.L. Franklin, my only beef with him is that you can't tell me he didn't turn a blind eye to what was happening to his daughter. Indeed. Now that doesn't have anything necessarily to do, because it's kind of two different things of him building her up and being rough on her and all that kind of stuff. But also, you got to protect your kids. I got a 10-year-old daughter, and I'd be damned if somebody would just come in there and do whatever to my daughter, and I'm like, it's all good. Which I don't know. They didn't get too far into that.
But Big Ben, we don't know what he knew. We don't. And I'm that's why. Look, real quick. There was a dude that his son was in karate class. He got molested and kidnapped by the karate teacher. The dad waited till they caught him, went to the airport in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, act like he was on the telephone. And when the man walked by, the dad turned around and shot that man in his head and killed him. We don't know what that dad knew. And when he found out, he literally lost his mind. He defended his kid then. We saw a movie. We didn't see a documentary. We didn't see the evidence. We didn't see all the scenes of what Mr. Franklin knew. So we get to stay back and say, oh, man, you got to defend your kid. You got to defend your kid. But the reality is we don't know what he knew.
That's true.
That's a good point. But I would say he puts his daughter to be great, though. There's no doubt about that. I'm not denying that at all. Without him, she wouldn't have been who she was, for sure. But we got a couple of questions. Go ahead, A-Trap.
Well, back to the LeVar Ball thing. I think the LeVar Ball is just like I speak about on my show on a regular basis. It's social structure versus governance structure. The social structure assumes that you should be this way and you should be tucked in the back and not say anything. But the governance structure, LeVar Ball is everybody who's watching this and who's going to watch this. Well, most people who are going to watch this and everybody who's currently watching this, I believe, got an uncle or a cousin that acts just like LeVar Ball. We were not taken aback by LeVar Ball. He wasn't going a bridge too far to us because we know one of our homeboys, we have an uncle, we got a cousin who is LeVar Ball. And in regards to like Jackson's father, they have come out to refute the abuse that has been alleged by Joe Jackson. Janet came out in her documentary, the Control documentary that she has on Hulu, and she say, nah, that ain't true. And a lot of the brothers and sisters have come out to say, nah, our father wasn't like that. I don't know why people say that. And again, man, look, we were raised different from most people in the United States of America, simply because we were raised by people who were stripped down to buck private in regards to self-esteem and knowing yourself. Everybody else got a foundation. Everybody else has a baseline. We raise our kids in a sense of defense to avoid destruction. So if we're a little overzealous with the physicality, I'm sorry, because I would rather all of us have heard this. I'd rather kick your behind than have the world kick your behind. And that's the sense that we're living in. And people watch LeVar Ball and others parent and they go, "You doing too much." No, I'm not doing too much. I'm doing what you've left for me.
Yeah. Right. And I get it. I get it more and more as my daughter gets older, because the world don't care. Like I have to be hard on you and expect more out of you, because the world really, number one, they're not going to expect that because they think that you can't do it anyway. So So let's did Columbia Records give Bobby Brown the king of R&B? I don't think so. I don't know who did
Whitney
that.
Houston did that.
Or Teddy Riley.
No, remember Whitney Houston went on TV and said Michael Jackson might be the king of pop, but my baby the king of R&B. You gotta get. I'm off.
And quiet as it's kept, it's Babyface. Because if you pay attention to who wrote all them hits,
because Babyface
that part. So many. TLC, Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston,
Julio Iglesias,
Tony Braxton,
The Deal. Yeah, that boy is bad.
H-Rap greatest hits.
Unreleased.
We did see Smoke.
Thank you, Willis.
I got you. Don't worry.
Unreleased.
I got you. Don't worry.
So how do you all feel about the new genre R&B opposed to the old?
Oh god! Here we go with the Pootie.
Hey Jay, would you tell them Pootie is a classic, man? You knew,
man. It is a cultural classic. Gotta recognize. It's a cultural classic.
3-3. Now I got Keisha, I got AJ, and it's me. It's 3-3.
So it's potato pie.
AJ and Keisha can do that review on another show.
Don't get Keisha started. Don't get Keisha started.
Baby.
Get Keisha started.
I'm for
the type it right now. I can hear it.
One of Pootie Tang's greatest hits. Y'all hurt?
Man,
I'm done.
Next.
All right. Anybody want to tackle this question? So how you feel about the new genre of R&B opposed? I think she's saying opposed to the old. New genre opposed to the old.
There's no contest.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
It's a difference in love music and sex music. It's a difference in physicality and sensuality.
Let's see. Here's the deal. I'm gonna have to defend the new R&B, and the reason why is because there's so much of it, and so I can take you to some new R&B that is exactly that, what old R&B was, which is love music. I can. Now what's getting airplay, what's getting the radio play, what's popular, I can't tell you. But I'm telling you right now, there are some artists who are all about
Shout out
that.
to West Side Gun.
In fact, they are more connected to the old genre of R&B.
That's the part.
Yeah. And that's the music I'm drawn to, because I'm telling you right now, it's just different. It's different from a marketing standpoint. It's different from a publicity standpoint. And to me, I think there's so much more of it, so to get through it requires a little bit more.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I mean, because I'm such an avid hip hop fan, I do understand create, what is created versus what is publicized. But the reason I say that is because Smokey Robinson, Aretha Franklin, I think I'm gonna say 1983 is when I kind of unplugged from the whole R&B thing, because we start going synthesized. Synthesized takes the feeling out of music, if you ask me. The bands were removed with drum machines and things of that nature. That's why I can't really truly connect to the music today. Even the great music, I like it, but it don't grab me.
Well, it grabbed the hell out of me because can't nobody tell me that Giveon and K-John and man, there's some bad boys out there.
Yeah,
I like musicality. It's just me.
And to Dog's point, it's there. It's just not. You're just not gonna find it. You're just not gonna find it easy. You really gotta. If they a lot of times they're featuring on other people's songs, then they come out with an album and you don't even know. I didn't know Giveon had. I think he got 2 albums already. I didn't even know that. I just heard him on.
It's some bad boys out there, and they, shit. So yeah. Now I just think it's a difference in terms of publicity. What's popular, and right now a lot of people are doing their own thing too. They doing their independent stuff, so they don't have them big machines behind them. Right. But they strong.
CJ finally made it out. Make sure watch
CJ.
CJ was in there for a good minute. I tried to get him out, but they said he got a little bit longer. A little bit longer. Facebook don't play with that with the jail.
Yeah, you got these Snow Allegra, Jesse Royal.
Snow Allegra is dope.
Man, look at her on, boy.
Her.
Alina Baraz.
Musical too. Yeah.
Alina Baraz is they'll get you there, baby. They'll get you there. Trust me. Trust me.
Let me spin this. Let me stretch this back to the movie though. Wasn't it amazing how Aretha could sit down at that piano and make other people's shit sound good?
Yes, sir.
Like she could grab what they couldn't get, what they were in there fighting over. And while they were fighting, I love the way that they depicted her just grooving it out. And not only was she able to groove it out, but then she was able to pass it on and came up with a sound that was just like, that's talent, man. I love seeing people. I'm not saying everybody's got to be able to play and all that,
right.
But when you can see something and hear something that the average ear can't, but then you can pass it on with catch this right here, follow me right here, and they can get that, and then you can turn it into something that we still grooving to long after that person is gone.
Yeah,
that man is a gift right there.
And that's a perfect segue to a note I had, AJ, is that I had no idea Otis Redding did Respect before Aretha. No idea.
Yeah. We don't even know that rendition.
No idea.
Right.
Yeah.
The only way I know that rendition is on Soul Town on Sirius XM. That's the only way I know that, because Soul Town will go back that far. That's the only way I knew that.
And that's that musical genius that some people have and don't have. Well, you can just get musicians in a room and you running the show, you telling people, hey, do this a little bit higher, bring this note. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's the musical genius. Right
there was a Stevie Wonder song that she had under her wing that I didn't know, and I think it's "Till You Come Back to Me." I didn't know that was a Stevie Wonder song. I didn't even know that, but she made that song so popular. I was like, wow, I didn't even. I didn't find that out until she passed.
And I'm trying to stop, but Destin Conrad, Frank Ocean, Jasmine Sullivan, Childish. Hey, you want to talk about talent?
Childish Gambino.
That
come through.
If you have not watched the Childish Gambino Tiny Desk concert where he do Tamaya So Into You,
and when he came out with Redbone, I heard a song a bunch of times. I'm like, who is this? Then I looked it up and I'm like, nah, this can't be him. Yeah. And he actually did that. I don't know if y'all heard this story, but he actually did that because people said he couldn't make hits. So he made that song as a revenge to people that said he couldn't make a hit.
Wow. Well, that song is definitely on the list.
That song is history. And you talk about Renaissance man, Atlanta, acting, TV show, movie, artist. He's got it all.
Yeah, he bad boy.
I did want to touch on Aretha's mom. She died at 34. But later on in the movie, that moment, like you cannot.
Look at her.
That was
having
huge.
that time with your mom, man. You
only get one mom, baby.
One mom, yeah. You can't duplicate that. You can't duplicate that. And she was on the floor by herself, but you can't duplicate that type of love.
This is a question I had for that, and I want to start with AJ on this.
All right.
Have you ever had a come to Jesus moment like Aretha had. It was just you and God, snot, tears, and
Oh,
nothing
absolutely.
else.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, I have. And I was I used to keep my furniture and everything real light. I liked light stuff.
Mm.
And I got to tell you, everything in that room was as dark as it could possibly be. It was
Wow.
like everything was black. It was light outside, but it was black in my room.
Wow.
And I literally, in my mind, was saying bye to people because I never thought I was going to come out of that room. I was in
Wow.
that dark of a place.
Wow.
And, I didn't channel the spirit of my mother. I didn't channel the spirit of my father, but there was a presence in there that got me through that because I didn't have the strength to even, I couldn't pray for myself. I couldn't get up off the floor. I felt like life was leaving me and I felt like that was going to be it. But some kind of way, man, something got me out of there. And the rest is, as they say, history.
Yeah. I've been there myself, man. And when I say the reason why I described it like that, because it wasn't nothing but me, snot, and tears.
Right.
And that's it. And I was literally down on my knees in the living room. And all I could do was cry out to Jesus. That's it.
Yeah.
And say, help me. I didn't even know what I needed help with, but I knew you got to come get me, because it was that tough, man. And from that moment, I have been on my feet ever since. Even when I'm not on my feet, I have been on my feet ever since. Please hear what I'm telling you. Until you get on your knees, you'll never be on your feet.
Yeah. That's
absolutely facts. Absolutely. I can agree with that.
And that's why this ain't your mom and dad is just gonna need.
Exactly.
Remember, I said this is just an excuse for us to start talking.
Right.
Yeah. But I also felt like they did a good job of showing a lot of people how bad it got for her. And I don't think they even scratched the surface on how bad it got. Imagine being so drunk that you bump it into your background singers that are not moving. And then you fall off the stage in front of thousands of people. Man. And she survived that, bro. Normally that's a wrap. But not only did she survive that, her biggest record was the one she made after it.
Right. That's right. That
gospel.
And I wanted to make sure to fact check that. And she did that fall was real. And she actually broke her arm. Now they didn't go into that part, but to have all those we've all had that moment. And my moment, some people know, man, I worked at Home Depot for 10 years, and that wasn't like by choice. That wasn't as if I was my dream job. But that was just one night where I was like, man, this can't be it. Man, that was like I think the bottom of the bottom that I could have been at. And like Dog said, you rise from that and you don't go back.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, we got to touch on Marlon.
Yeah.
Now, Marlon doesn't really this is probably his first ever serious role. I think. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything serious.
I don't think so.
And when he as soon as he came on and he started talking, I was like, this, I don't know. I think he did the best that he could do, but I wanted to laugh every time I heard him talk because it sounded like he was putting on he was trying to put on a voice, but it sounded more like a impression than it sounded like him being that person.
Wow.
But I respect what he did. But I wanted to we got to talk about Marlon Wilkes.
What about you, AJ? Let's talk. I want to hear AJ got this look on his face. I
was trying to feel you. I'm feeling y'all and y'all dapping up and stuff. But I'm gonna tell you why I felt like he did a good job because I really stopped liking him the more I watched him. Like I really got mad at him. I was like, nigga, leave her alone. Like just leave her alone. If you try one more time, I'm getting you. And I can really say that about the whole cast, that every one of them literally did a great job of making me feel what they were trying to make me feel. But Marlon pulled that off. Marlon literally made you not like him. And I did. I looked up that husband and it's like, okay, this dude had a real problem that he took out on Aretha Franklin. Let that sit in. So in the short time that he had to make it come to life, Marlon built that thing up. He didn't jump right into it. You need to leave him alone. He was looking at you and, he's drinking on the bottle. And the next thing you know, he choking her up against the wall. And then the next thing you know, he getting her in the elevator. And, it built very well to the point where I literally stopped liking him it wasn't funny no more. It was, I mean, quit playing. You so silly. How you get this role to like, man, you touch it one more time. Get it one more again. It's on.
I think that is very well stated. And for also, in fairness to him, look at where he had to come from, right? Because of his background, he had to overcome that in our minds, right? To be able to convince us of what this was. So considering all of that, I got to give him a pass on this one. I think he did it justice.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna power tap, but
Oh, no.
No, man.
But when he made the Reverend say, when we got to get street with his ass, he like, nigga, you want to mess with me?
When he pulled that pistol out, I was like, whoa.
I ain't always been saying,
we call it a goddamn it.
Yeah, he made that Reverend get street with his ass, boy.
But no, I think Marlon did a great job, man. I'm with the voice kind of threw me off a little bit, but Marlon did a great job, man. I mean, and then the funny, what I remember when it first started, I was like, he better act his behind off. No disrespect to the brother Marlon Wayans. He funny. I like a lot of his work, but I'm like, you ain't no sexy dude to be pulling Aretha Franklin. You're not sexy enough for this role. So you better get down, bro. And I'm with that day. He got out because I was looking at him like, Marlon Wayans, the ladies checking for Marlon Wayans, knock it off, right?
Yeah.
But see, as the movie went along, you was like, man.
And I agree.
See, for me, your acting, it's not just about what you say; it's mannerisms and things of that nature, right? So let's think about the last scene he was in, where he came to that concert, and the way he looked at what was going on, and how he, the look on his face as he turned.
He knew it was over.
He knew it was over, and
he made us feel like it was over.
For you to convey that without speaking a word, I could just put that scene out, and that's all you need to know.
Well, he said her music when she's singing it made his head muddle, so he felt those words when she was singing "Freedom." He's like, "Oh, that's a wrap. It's over."
Yeah, it's over.
He was putting it all in his bicuspids.
AJ, I agree with you. You made a great point. That made me dislike Marlon because you seen the way he treated her, and Aretha had that. Until that towards the end scene, she had that personality. Just like, I'm gonna let you just the whatever man was in her life, her dad or whoever she was in a relationship with, they really had the lead, and she just kind of sat back and did whatever until that moment that she was like, "You're not doing this no more."
Right.
You know what? I want to add this something to bounce off something AJ said a few minutes ago, and I want to see how y'all felt about this. This movie, as AJ mentioned, all the people in the movie made you feel what they were doing. And this is a dictionary. This is a prime example of why we need to create our own art and support our own art because of Marlon Wayans, it's doing a damn good job in drama because of all these other people throughout the entire movie. They did the damn thing, and we shouldn't be turning to. We should be playing Mother May out with Hollywood. We need to be going directly to brother Tyler Perry. We need to have Eddie and Will and Denzel or whoever else got the capital to just say, here's $4 million, make this movie. Because we are cheating ourselves because like I said on my show last week, why haven't we seen, again, we talking about Aretha Franklin, but when we talk about her glory and her greatness, but why haven't we seen a movie about Paul Robeson?
No.
Paul Robeson is, in regards to greatness, he above a Jackie Robinson. He's above a lot of these people. This dude, an attorney. This dude was a vocalist who was learning. He would go to Europe and learn the language and then sing the song in that language. He was a thespian, an attorney, and by the way, while he was in Columbia Law School, this dude was playing in the NFL on the weekend.
It was a part-time job. Yeah.
No movie at all.
Nothing. You don't hear nothing about Paul Robeson.
No.
That definitely needs to happen.
So
Now,
that's what I was thinking. The whole flick, like, man, we need. And again, like I said 2 or 3 weeks ago, this is why I don't want to see any more biopics. I think these need to be miniseries because we could have learned so much more about Aretha Franklin had we had 4 to 6 weeks to watch this.
Miniseries. Yeah.
This was 6 or 7 episodes. Man, we already see Aretha Franklin above my halo, but she would be the sky's the limit to Aretha Franklin.
This is what
there is a series.
This is my take on that, is that we need to have more of what we see with like Ali or Malcolm X. You see them all. Not only do you see the biopic, but you also see more of a documentary and more of a series and more. She's worthy of all of them. You know, that's my thing. And I thought to myself, you know, man, why do we have to wait so long to see this? You know, in fact, with as great as she was, you know, and I think she was world renowned, right?
She was.
Yeah, it is a series, but from what I understand, I'm addressing Ramadan. It is a series, but from what I understand, people say it was horrible. I didn't watch it.
It's called Genius.
Everybody said it was horrible.
Yeah, it was on. That was the one on
I didn't put with it in
Hulu as well.
Yeah. Right. But to his point, when we got to go to Hulu and say, here's what we want to do, they have the ultimate say on how much of it we get to do and what gets watered down and what gets edited out and what gets changed. And the reality is there's enough there that there shouldn't be much watered down or edited or changed. And when you've got a BS3 and when you've got some of these other black-owned, black-operated networks, guess what? You don't have to do that. And you can do some of the, we're not going to do that. We'll just keep doing it, you know, Master P style. We'll keep doing it out of the trunk till it blows up. And then guess what? We'll tell you how you're going to edit it and run it from there.
Way of that, though? Isn't it ego that's getting in the way?
Well, and that's true. That's true. Unfortunately.
Because it ain't a money problem, right? We can all agree we have the money to do it, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell we should let Quincy Jones transition without his story being told. Quincy,
absolutely.
The reason we love Ray so much, and me and Big Illinois was talking about this yesterday, the reason we love Ray so much because Ray was there from action to cut.
Yeah.
He transitioned after they rapped. So everything you see in Ray is authentic. Spike Lee, even though that's one of my favorite movies, Malcolm X is one of my favorite movies, but I don't think he did a good enough job because of financial constraints, you know, but he left a lot out. And you can't do 40 years in 90 minutes or 2 hours or 3 hours. You can't do 40 years in that. That's why I push for like Okra to do you know, on her network. Yeah, I said that right. I called the Okra. Yes.
Flying the okra or fried okra?
Let me take that and transition to something that stood out for me. Let me hit you because we got all these kings on here. Did y'all feel any of the they just dogging black men, or did you feel like that was just a depiction of her interaction with the black men in her life? Dad was rough in his way. Husband was rough in his way. You know, how did y'all feel about that? Because I didn't feel that energy. Like, damn, they just black men again. Here we are. All we doing is them and beating, sleeping around.
It's just what it was. We are who we are. They are who we thought they were. What did Dennis Green say?
But think about that. That is another area that I gave him a check mark because they took what could be a volatile situation. You could turn off your whole black male base when you bash us too hard, but they didn't do it. They just told the story, and I felt like, okay, I can relate with that. Damn, I wish he hadn't done that. You know, I wish Dad could have been a little bit better in that area, but it was so well done that I felt like it didn't come off that way.
And another reason, AJ, is because I believe that we sympathize with the black figure a little bit more than the average audience as well. In other words, we know what really is here, you know, whether it be with, you know, Minister Franklin or whatever the case may be. We understand that some of that is understandable, you know. So we're not going to be as critical on those brothers as a lot of folks may be. So I didn't take it.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. There were guys that were in her corner, like, hey, you shouldn't do this many shows because of this, because of you not. She had some guys holding her accountable. I think if we honest, she chose men that she liked, but they didn't turn out to be the best for her at the end.
Yeah,
but there were guys that were definitely out for her. So no, I don't. Yeah, I don't agree.
Yeah,
Mayhem was going to say something.
No, I was just saying what Ben was kind of saying there. I think that's why I was saying earlier about the demon. I think that was probably one of them that they probably had no idea of, but I think it was just her, like he said, she was picking whom she thought was really, I guess, her best interest, I guess you could say, or whatever was going to kind of promote her as well, but also promoting herself at the same time. I think that's just what she was trying to find, like maybe some security there at times, but then she didn't really need that in the end, and I think that's what's like, yeah, I don't need this environment. I don't need this, what they're trying to feed me and sell me. So no, I was just kind of piggybacking off what Ben was saying.
And I think a deeper point that I see in this is that what this is, these type of women, what they've had to go through, the reason why Black women today are calling out for what they're calling out for now, right? There are so many similarities in Aretha's story with Etta James, right? Her story, and you named the singer back then, right? Yeah, I did what Black women had to go through, right, is the reason why they calling out and they hollering out as much as they are today. They are a microcosm of what Aretha went through. Aretha at some point said, I'm tired as hell and I'm not taking this shit no more. Right. And so collectively, you could argue that the Black female is in that place. I'm tired of this shit and I ain't taking it no more. Right. And we got to give them some time to kind of revert from that. Right. Because right now they on a recoil, they're like, okay, I'm tired of this shit, and they've been taking it for a long time, man, and so, that's the deeper picture of this whole thing to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because there was a point in time where I said, damn, as great as her career was, imagine how greater it could have been without the first husband, without the molestation, without, again, not getting the help that she needed professionally and getting into the drinking and what happened.
Or was that the reason why it was so great? Because remember that pain drives, man.
And you're right. She made good music out of that pain.
Maybe
Good point.
Again, that gospel album, which is the greatest, the best album she's ever put out, the greatest selling of all time in her career, that doesn't happen if she doesn't go through that. I had an analogy before I came into my what I consider my little studio, my little dining room one night, and I saw a light on in here. And I'm like, God dog it, I didn't realize my keyboard had a light on it like that, my laptop. Well, the Lord ministers to me in a lot of different ways. And he goes, sometimes you got to be in the dark to see the light. So from that situation, sometimes you gotta experience that in order for me to get that greatness out of you. You got to go through that pain. Hell, a diamond is, and what it got to go through to become a diamond, the heat and the refining that you got to go through to come through that greatness. So she may not have been as great.
Okay, I got a question for you then. She had gone through so much trauma up until the point she was discovered by the original, what was the Arista or whatever it was. The original record label, right?
Yeah, okay.
Columbia, I'm sorry. What happens if she takes Smokey Robinson and goes into a nurturing environment? Because Smokey was like, hey, we over here at Motown, we doing a thing. And Motown is known, one of their greatest features was taking care of the artist, nurturing the artist, maturing the artist. So if Sheila went from a chaotic situation to an extremely nurturing situation, what type of blossoming would she have done? Because then Barry lets you do what you want. Barry brings you in and pulls all that wonderful out of you. What happens if you go over that?
I don't obviously we will never know, but to me, like when she went to those boys in was it Alabama? No, it wasn't Alabama.
It was Alabama.
And White Cats and those musicians and stuff like that.
Funky white boys.
So again, I'm a fan of, from a spiritual standpoint, because I really try to look at things from a spiritual standpoint. We are all exactly where we're supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah, I don't debate that.
And I was going to just say this to Doc's point about him, saying that, the Lord ministered to him, he's in that darkness, but yet there's a light being shown from that room. There was a song by Jimmy Ruffin, What Becomes of a Broken Heart, or the Broken Hearted. There's a line in there where he says, I was walking in shadows searching for a light. So it's one of those moments where the Lord will minister to you in those moments. It's like, it's like you have to, I guess you say you have to, but it's almost like I need to show you this pain to put you in these experiences for you to minister to the next person.
See, and that's the part I don't know if I agree with. Now I'm off the movie.
No, you're good.
We've been
so God doesn't have to create situations to be God. He will use where we are and what we're going through, but that isn't the only path to get there. Like I didn't have to screw up my marriage to become a good husband. I could have just been a good husband.
Here's the point to that. Your story was already written. You didn't choose to screw it up. That was written in the book of life. God knew that when you were in the womb, before you were even conceived. So,
but you still have to make the choice to be good or bad.
You do, exactly. But those choices are there. God gives you those two paths. He's a God of choices.
I agree.
Free will,
right?
So no, I get it. I understand. And like you said, it's kind of like with Aretha's point. It's almost like, well, did she have to stay? Was she trapped? Did she know she could get out of that situation? I mean, it's like you said, I don't know. I mean,
one of the most significant pieces in that movie is when her daddy had told her, "You're no longer walking with God. You're not walking with Jesus anymore."
Right.
And then when she was right before the concert at the church, and she said, he goes, "I was wrong. You've always been with Jesus." And she goes, "No, you were right. He was with me. I wasn't with him."
Right.
And that's a very key distinction. Jesus is always with us. God is always with us, but we're not always walking with him.
Yeah, that's facts.
And I think
that's
too,
the distinction.
I think too, if we really look at it, she was a kid. She was a kid that I don't know when she ever really was mature enough to be able to make decisions and to be able to just say, when she reached that moment when she said, "I'm done," I think at that moment it was like, all right,
she made some points.
Right.
And she made some comments about that, saying, I really don't know, who I am right now. It's like I'm still trying to find out who I want to be in this. So no, you're right. It definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job of letting her stand up to her dad, letting her stand up to her first husband, even deciding that she wanted to go on tour with Martin Luther King Jr. That was a big decision for her. When Mary J. Blige came in that dressing room, she didn't know nothing. But after Mary got to drinking that liquor, then all of a sudden she came up with a plan. She didn't have a plan. She didn't have a plan, but she said, "I need a plan because you over there about to beat my tail and drinking my liquor." So it put her on a different path.
And we only got about 7 more minutes or so being, but I want to touch on, if we can, Jennifer Hudson, in my estimation, may be one of the most underrated singers of our day, in my estimation, man. I think she's bad. I said what she did with Dreamgirls, she's won an Academy Award, 2 Grammy Awards, a Daytime Emmy Award, a Golden Globe Award, a Screen Actors Guild Award.
Yeah,
I think she's one of the most underrated singers of our day, truly.
Yeah. I agree.
Was she in Cadillac Records? I don't know if she was in Cadillac Records. I don't think she was in.
I don't think so.
And to me, the agreeing with you, Doc, and to piggyback off of that, when you watch something and you're thinking, "Wow, Aretha can really sing," where you're not even knowing that that's Jennifer Hudson, that to me, just like Ray, like A-Trap said, you didn't know if that was Ray or if that was Jamie Foxx. Same thing with this. You didn't know if this was Jennifer Hudson or
Or Will Smith on Ali for me. Will Smith made me forget it was Will Smith on Ali.
Yep, that's the superb actor.
Yeah.
And real quick, I also want to bring up Forrest Whitaker, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
we can't laud him enough. Yeah,
right.
And the CGI people, because it's
okay, man. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Supposedly he was having surgery to correct that. Supposedly
he did. And Black Panther, it wasn't like that.
I think he had surgery to correct that.
Oh man.
Now, like Morgan Freeman's hand, I don't know, but that's a different story.
I'm gone, man. I got nothing else. I'm gone. I'm praying for you cats. Let me throw some oil on the screen right now. Leave that man alone.
All right. We wind it down. Let's get to some final thoughts
and explain how we rank and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, no week.
I forgot. Let me get my beauty.
Man.
Real quick, man. So AJ, we got a little segment here. Go ahead, Ben.
Okay.
Drop the.
Okay.
You
We
got
sit back.
thing?
I got you. Bam. Beauty of the week.
And let me give a shout out to my son, Ivan Dawkins Jr. of GoldenEye Creations. He does a lot of the music for BS3 Network and some of the shows and whatnot. And that's another banger. But my beauty of the week is the one and only Audra McDonald. Let me put it like this. There was a lot of candidates out there. Mary J is one of my favorites of all time. Because Mary J can be a whole bunch of different chicks for you. You hear me? She can go blonde. She can go curly. She can go straight. She bad. Okay. Jennifer Hudson in her own right. If you can sing me to sleep, you got something with me. But Audra McDonald, that's a woman right there.
Underrated.
That is a woman right there.
That's
and
a good
I tried
one.
to put 3 different pictures. That's my beauty of the week, man. And
well done.
Hey, man. Audra, holla at
your
boy.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Holla at your boy. Now,
Underrated.
unfortunately, I think she like them white boys, though.
Uh-oh.
She married to one. I'm just telling you the truth.
Oh, okay.
Well, she like that one.
You did some
research. From
research.
Germany or something like that?
I don't care where she from. Yeah, I done been to Germany.
Golden Brooks said, "Get the holy water out."
Yeah, but Audra, I'll forgive you. Come home. Come back to Jamaica. What's older than you? We want you to join us.
Over 3 photos.
Come back to
Jamaica.
Now she's back with her mother. Now I realize that I love her.
Hey, man.
I thought she was going to pick Aretha Franklin's stepmom.
No.
Appreciate you.
In the words of the Isley brothers, coming back.
Yeah, Marsha.
Atlanta. Coming back.
How did you hear about us, Marsha? How did you hear about us?
Oh yeah, I love her comments.
Okay. A-Trap.
Okay.
A-Trap bring him in.
Anytime it's an old name up there, A-Trap doesn't bring him. If they got an old name like Vernon or Doretha or somebody like that, A-Trap referred him. I don't even know why I asked.
A-Trap is the promo team, man. A-Trap get people coming in. Salute to you, A-Trap. We appreciate you. Make sure we say that on air. All right, so final thoughts, and then we'll get to the rating. So the way we rate films is from 1 mic to 5 mic, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, and you give your honest opinion and take. AJ, you are the guest. Also, those that are tuning in, give your rating. Like I said, 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. So final thoughts, including the rating, and we're going to go to our guest first. We got to, AJ.
Final remarks, y'all, man. Again, y'all don't know how much I enjoyed this. I really, really, really love it. So if you invite me back, I ain't gonna say no.
Oh, we gotta bring you back for sure.
Oh, brother, I love this. I can't go 5 mics because I like to reserve superstar and greatest and all that for that which is just really exceptional. But
Right.
I will give it 3 strong mics. I would give it street.
Mm.
I was entertained. Like I said, I felt what they were trying to make me feel. And one thing I said earlier was n- not one single actor or actress got lost in the greatness that was around them. Like Heather Headley. She was in a room with some bad actors and actresses, but she held her own. Like I still felt what I was supposed to feel around her. So
Well, that's
3
a
solid
bad girl
mics.
too.
Yeah, 3 solid
Yep.
mics.
I didn't know she was in it until I looked up the list of
She's
people.
bad
I was
girl.
on an emotional roller coaster watching that.
Yeah, she a bad girl.
All right. Let's go to Doc.
Yeah. So for me, one of the things I want to make sure and get stated about this, of course, I thought the film was well done, but the impact of Dr. King's death on so many of our ancestors and how it intertwined with their stories. This is yet another film that we reviewed that impact loomed so large in their lives, right? For me, I give it a 4 mics, solid 4 mics. I thought it was that well done. In fact, I watched this movie before we reviewed it. I went back and watched it again this weekend in preparation for this, but I watched it before. And as soon as I got through, I immediately sent y'all the chat saying, we got to review Respect, So I thought it was that well done. So I give it a solid 4 mics. And of course, AJ, I promise you, we're going to have you back, brother. I promise you. You coming back, man. So if you see a film out there in your day-to-day dealings or whatever that you think will be a good one, holler at us. We'll do it.
Yes, sir.
We'll do it.
All right. So my final thoughts. I learned so much about Aretha I did not know. Her family,
Aretha Franklin,
Riri. And we didn't talk about this at all.
Original Riri.
The original Riri.
The
Say that out loud.
Riri before it had a bad connotation on it, but they called her Riri. I mean, I learned so much. To me, this was at first I was thinking, all right, what can I learn that I did not know? And from the beginning to the end, it was to me it was a learning experience. Also, I want to give a shout out to my sister. She was actually in the movie at the end when they were doing the rehearsal in the church. She was that first lady that was standing there. So big shout out to my sister Deidre.
Okay,
motion picture debut. So I wanted to make sure I said that. So
screen actress. She's a SAG member, huh?
Yes, sir. She can sing too. She can sing.
She can sing.
But I think I'm gonna go with Doc and
so
AJ.
She got the looks and the talent, huh?
Yeah. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
But you did put the BS in BS3, though. We'll give you that.
Wow.
Wow.
Love you.
Love you, babe.
Right.
Wow.
So I'm gonna go with a 4 too. I was thinking 4.5, but I think I'm gonna go with a solid 4 because we reviewed some movies that were 4.5s and they had multi layers. This was good, so I give it a 4. All right, we're gonna go to A-Trap.
I'm giving it a 3 for the exact same reason AJ did it. I'm giving it a 3. It was very entertaining. I enjoyed it. I wish I would have watched it sooner, but I'm gonna roll with the 3.
Okay. All right. Last but not least,
Mayhem. And because of Mayhem and all of his comments at the beginning of the show, my phone has been blowing up the entire show. I am screaming over here. If you say that name one more time, I'm gonna pass out. Oh man!
Text me the names.
You done blew. Hey, look at here, boy. You done blew my phone up.
Oh man. Yeah, I have to give it a 4, and the reason I give it a 4, not because I would say not because of the acting and then the juggernauts that were in here. The music of Aretha Franklin took me back to listening to my grandmother spin these records. Took me back to those, especially that hot comb they were using in
Yeah,
that
man.
kitchen. That
Yep.
took
Yeah,
me back.
man.
That took me back to my
Yeah.
grandma with the VO5 and I got to bump my hair tonight for church. So that took me back. But yeah, just that era and just seeing, I guess you could say, significant, powerful Black people in their element.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I
Yeah,
thought it
I
was
added about 3 or 4 Aretha songs to some playlists, man. And that,
Oh man.
when I say if you ain't heard "Ain't No Way" in a while,
Oh right.
go listen to "Ain't No Way."
Get it? Yeah.
I'm gonna that song, and I'm gonna throw it out here because they don't.
Ooh,
I haven't
ooh.
heard it a lot, but "Gotta Find Me an Angel." That song I think was written by her and her sister, or her sister did backup vocals.
Ruben Studdard redid that song.
That song was amazing. If you haven't heard that one in a while,
He's joking.
Yeah, he is.
you
Oh,
need to
that's
go
"I
there.
Need an Angel." My
That
bad.
whole
Yeah, we'll
thing,
talk about
man.
Ruben. Yeah, that's
Yeah, dog.
sorry for his 04. We ain't talking about Ruben Studdard. We ain't talking about that. But anyway,
Hey, I got a suggestion for the show, though. You know, we do the beauty of the week, and in honor of Wilkes, man, because he's a great brother. I think we need to do the ugly kid of the week.
Wow.
It's true.
Oh, wow. We can't do that.
Remember, we had like 6 black movies. Wilkes,
We can't do
I was
that,
picking them
man.
out. Trust me, I was picking them out. I don't have one this week, but I was picking them out.
Yeah, you got one. You got one. We just don't want to say it.
I'll let it ride.
Let's leave that alone.
I'll let it ride.
I think we need to do that every week, man. Ugly kid in the movie. Because ever since Harder They Fall, Wilkes been killing these kids, man.
Yeah.
Gosh, man. That one got me, man. That one got me.
All right. So what's coming up tomorrow on the lunch break?
Tomorrow, man, I'm getting into some of this draft talk because folks are giving out these grades like they really did something, and they really didn't. They really didn't. And then, of course, we'll be talking about NBA playoffs tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, I enjoyed Johnny Cole and the other coaches on there today.
Yeah, they had a little decent show today. They kind of got real with each other today. I like
Johnny Cole. That was a nice surprise when I seen him hosting. I was like, that was nice.
Oh, man, I pushed him on out there, bro. You can't be in my background forever. Get out there. Let's see what you got. And he's really stepped up as far as guest goes. So,
and I'm gonna tell you, I say that I comment this frequently on the show, but an hour is just not enough, man.
Brother,
I need more lunch break, man.
Winding down, not turning up.
I'm like, come on, give me
some
more.
Lunch break is good,
man.
That's great.
Look, most folks get an hour lunch. We don't run our own stuff like you, Doc.
Yeah.
1 hour. We'll get those 2-hour lunches.
Yeah.
So, somebody said they're gonna text you a CD.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm gonna text me a rare CD that's hard to find that I have for Riri. That CD is called "Falling Out of Love."
Another thing about the movie, I was mad that they didn't show when she was on Soul Train with that see-through shirt.
Wow.
Thank you, Theodora.
That's okay. Because in the end,
you know who friend that is right there, don't you?
I already know.
Theodora.
Say less.
She connected.
Say less. Thank you, Theodora.
Yeah, she said she was really impressed. All right, so what's coming up tomorrow on End of the Bench?
End of the Bench is gonna be kind of sticky. It's gonna be a very opinionated show instead of like factual. And, anytime you do a show like that, you got it's 3 ways that you can voice your opinion. But it's gonna do a lot of opinion. It's gonna be opinion based tomorrow. First, I'm gonna start off with this study with the University of Chicago. The University of Chicago has this outreach program called Ready Chicago, and what they did, they studied 2,500 young men and the recidivism rate. You got 2,500 young men who have been shot, who've been incarcerated, who've been in the drug trade, and it was 2,500 men who couldn't make the cut. Needless to say, a lot of these young men who didn't make the cut were shot again, were reincarcerated, and then go back into the drug trade. And I'm gonna talk about ESL, emotional and social learning, and I'll get into that. And that's what the program is based upon. And it's basically giving affirmation to what we already know. If we address the issues in which people have that put them into these disadvantages or non-advantageous situations, they will not go the wrong way. What they'll do is stay on a straight and narrow path. We need to address people's emotional states and then re-socialize them. And that's how they'll learn how to deal with things instead of, you know what, AJ, what you say, man? I don't what you mean it was a 3 mic, you know, and say, hey, I understand that that's your opinion, blah, blah, blah. The second topic I'll talk about is we got to stop black on black racism. This is the opinionated portion of the show. It's easy for us. What we always do is what I consider black on black racism is I ain't going to that black business because I got some poor service that day. But if you've been to McDonald's 100 times, at least 35 times, they blew your
Speak
order.
on it.
And you continue to go.
Right.
Another thing I'm going to talk about is how Elon Musk purchasing Twitter is really in my personal opinion, is to destroy Twitter, because what we've done is file towards the lowest common denominator when it comes to social media. Facebook started off rating women, right? That's what people don't understand. That whole platform is turned out well. You were in Massachusetts, they were at Brown, they were at Harvard, they were at Yale and things of that nature. And they just did that to rate women on campus. And then it became a social thing and you were connecting with friends. And then it became a situation where information was being passed. Twitter was birthed out of that. And Twitter is a place where actual information is being exchanged. You have actual politicians that you can reach out to. And then we reduced ourselves to pictures on Instagram. And then what we've done is gone from pictures to video. The reason I think you're reducing yourself to the lowest common denominator, people who of affluence don't allow their children to touch these things into their teens. And look at it this way: you caveman style rating women, and then you start exchanging information. Everybody says it's kooks on Twitter, but there are actual people on Twitter exchange. Michael Harriet, Karen Hunter, Joe Madison, Nicole Yvette Brown, and I can't think what's his name. Black Voters Matter. These people are writing dissertations, small dissertations, and attracting you to places. And which that's how I found out about the politicking app. The politicking app is if I was in city council and I want to run for state rep, it shows me, the politicking app shows you what I voted for. So that will help you decide who you need to vote for. Another app is the 5 Calls app. One of the topics on the 5 Calls app today is, I'm opening it up now. Do you support the legalization of marijuana being passed in the House? And what it does is allow me to contact both my United States senators of the state of Illinois, Dick Durbin, Richard Durbin, and Tammy Duckworth. I can contact them directly. Give
me that number. Shit, we got to get that through.
There you go again.
Yeah, you download the 5 Calls app, and I would encourage. You know what, Doc? You should. You and everybody, one of your friends that chooses to indulge in cannabis, you should call your state senator. You should call Raphael Cruz, because his name is not Ted. His name is Raphael. Your name is not Ted.
Ralphie.
Yeah, you should give Raphael a call, because what we don't realize is every time we call a United States senator's phone and leave a message, that is documented, and everything that you left on that message is documented. So if you can get 5, 6, 7,000 people say, I want legal marijuana in Texas, they have to answer the people and whatever you're looking for. So I'm gonna talk about that. And the last thing I'll talk about is the 5 Calls app.
There you go. Dropping knowledge.
We must activate. We are at a impasse at this point. We are at a point of inflection.
7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
6 p.m. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Easiest way to get in contact with me to go to YouTube, the THA of DA Bench. The end of the bench is start off a sports show, and I got tired of people complaining, man, these people doing this to us in the league. Okay, well, we're gonna get things fixed socially, and then we can start watching football and enjoy it. Because there's no way you should be discriminated against in football, because we paid for Dallas Stadium, we paid for Soldier Field, we paid for Giant Stadium, and our tax dollars are funding those plays. Well, maybe not Jerry Jones, because he created a whole town, damn near. But most people, we are funding those stadiums. So how are you discriminating? And you had an antitrust thing that you're living off of, and let's get this done. So 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, your boy be filibustering again.
All right,
Yes, sir.
and Queen 3 and King tomorrow is back too.
Yes, sir. Married with friends. Is it okay to have friends of the opposite gender while married? Can men and women just be friends? Is sex the only way to break a bond in a marriage? Find out tomorrow on Queen 3 and King, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on BS3 Network.
Speaking
know
of sex,
Ricky Rush knows
taking
how to
under
break
my
bonds.
clothes.
What you say, Wilkes?
We know how Ricky Rush knows how to break bonds.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, Ricky. Oh, Ricky.
Let Ricky be Ricky.
I love it.
I need you to tell me who sent you the message. Anyway,
What?
Kevin West was actually the one that's going to send you the.
Yeah, I got it.
Frankly, seen that.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so another great episode of the Forecast. We will be back.
Kevin West, the police now.
Yes, sir. Yes, he is. We'll be back next week, same time. And thank you, AJ, for coming on the show. We will definitely
Thank y'all for having me. Appreciate
definitely
it,
get you on
guys.
again.
Appreciate it.
Where
And
the Chef Beetle at, man? She gone?
Yeah,
he's
you pass up
probably
that
went to
time.
sleep.
Yeah, man. She probably fell asleep watching Booty Tank.
Yeah.
A blank man.
Thank you, AJ. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
For that Pootie Tang reference. My man.
Thank you, Miss Hopper.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Because I'll be ready to grind they pity on the running kind, man.
I'm gone.
All right. A-Trap, go ahead and close us out. And then
Hit the theme, Expo.
Then what
man,
you need to know.
Every show, salute to Reggie O'Shea. God bless you. Rest the dead. God bless the dead. Reggie O'Shea. And Craig Smith by saying, dream those dreams and man up and woman up and live your dreams, because life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in Technicolor surround sound, and y'all already know. If I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
Go.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Don't
What
try to
you
jive
need
God. You can't.
God.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Monday, May 2nd, 2022. Number 1, I am so proud to announce the creation of HBCU Bridge. By partnering with Sports Video Group, or SVG, my company, Yossi Media, will enable students at historically black colleges and universities to begin careers in sports broadcasting, production, and other industry opportunities. This new initiative bridges the Tom Joyner Foundation's work to keep students in HBCUs and the next step, the opportunity for HBCU students and graduates to launch careers in sports broadcasting and production. Number 2, pressure continues to mount on President Biden to cancel student loan debt by members of his own party. During a recent closed-door meeting, Mr. Biden assured Democratic leaders that he will consider some form of relief, but didn't commit to a specific plan. White House officials have been working with members of Congress and aides to come up with a formula that provides a number that makes the most sense in terms of canceling some student debt while providing financial relief. Number 3, recent polls show reflecting diverging preferences by different races on how to deal with the pandemic as federal, state, and local restrictions fall by the wayside. Black Americans at 63% and Hispanic Americans at 68% continue to be more likely than white Americans at 45% to say they are at least somewhat worried about themselves or a family member being infected with COVID-19. This data is according to an April poll from the Associated Press and NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. Number 4, criminal charges have been filed after a white Casey County, Kentucky middle school student allegedly strangled and assaulted a black student in a school bathroom while 3 other students watched. The student had been charged with strangulation and assault in connection with the incident that allegedly occurred Friday and was videotaped. Police are trying to determine if there were additional videos and said other charges may be filed. Number 5, pharmaceutical giant Pfizer is recalling a blood pressure drug because of elevated levels of a potential cancer-causing impurity. The company is warning consumers of several tainted lots of Acupril and 2 other versions of the drug because of the presence of a nitrosamine above the acceptable daily intake level. The medications are prescribed for the treatment of hypertension to reduce the risk of cardiovascular events, primarily strokes and myocardial infarctions. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Seek out people who are honest, positive, and kind. Okay, I'm over here. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with comedians extraordinaire Chris Paul, Huggy Lowdown, and social justice activist Coy Malone as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.